Hey guys, very good evening to all of you guys. Welcome to the second episode of the Garage Jam Talks. Today's episode is going to be a little bit interesting, intriguing, intricate. We are trying to understand what are the different negative myths or the myths that have created so much of negativity that surrounds cryptocurrency. We are going to understand why they exist, what kind of myths are there in this world that exist, and how do you get out of that notion? Because when you're trying to do something good, there's always something negative being attached to it. We're trying to understand how do you get out of that thought process, and how will you be able to get rid of that negative thought in your head if you've heard it from somebody, someone you follow, someone you know who's been investing in cryptocurrency, and they've told you the dark side of investing in cryptocurrency. So we're trying to figure out what they are, why they are, and how do you get rid of those thoughts in your head. So that being said, I'm your host Arwen Magma, and this is episode 2 of the Garage Jam Talks. Today's sponsor, once again my favorite, NZXT. Here we go. NZXT is a gaming product company and drives through its vision of helping PC users to build just the right PC for themselves. You can never go wrong as it has beautifully engineered routing channels. Build a great gaming experience with NZXT. Visit the website today. All right, welcome back to the second episode, and welcome back, Divyanth. How are you doing this evening?
Doing awesome, man. How are you?
Feeling a little under the weather, actually.
But the weather is so awesome today, man. Like, are you under the weather or under the weather?
I get that, but it's really still a bad joke. Okay. Yeah, so the weather change is actually bringing in a lot of things along with it, which my body is not able to cope up with.
Just say phlegm and be done with it, dude.
I didn't want to be so disgusting right now. Come on. All right. In the last episode, actually, the last episode was it did have quite a good response as we saw. I mean, even if it's 1 or 2%, it matters a lot. So that's something which we got, and I think we're going to be discussing about a lot of myths, or should I say the crypto mythology, which was created by people. What are your thoughts about this great mythology? What do you think about it?
Well, usually mythology is good, but this one is like outright negativity, which keeps people from investing in crypto or even make positive policies surrounding crypto. So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of misconceptions and concerns about crypto.
Okay. What are the different challenges that you tackled when you started? Just in general. Since we're talking about it, we'll go deep into it, but then just simple thoughts.
Okay, so when back in 2013, when I was heavily researching crypto, getting to know more about it, my biggest challenge was, of course, having not having enough money to put into it.
Right.
But there's also these.
That's not a myth. That's a fact.
That's a. Yeah, that is a fact.
I'm just joking. I'm so sorry. But that was a good one. It was still better than the under the weather thing,
No, I think that was better.
Okay, let people decide. Okay. But okay, I'm so sorry.
Okay, the other biggest challenge was there's a lot of there wasn't enough institutional infrastructure in place. Well, not that we have a lot of it right now, but back then there was even less infrastructure. Crypto was something really, really new, and mainstream software developers and tech community didn't really make enough tools and resources to make either investing in crypto or making crypto exchange secure enough. So consequently, what happened was back in 2013, there was this really famous crypto exchange called Mt. Gox, right? That was the only place where you could buy Bitcoin back then. That got hacked and crashed and it fell under the ground like crazy.
Wow.
People who had left their crypto in that exchange was gone, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. That was one thing. The second thing was, back then crypto was really used to buy drugs, because
What?
people used to like order weed and drugs online and have it delivered to their homes. There was this platform called Silk Road, whose only payment processor was this Bitcoin network. They didn't even have Visa and MasterCard and all that, and consequently they were able to trade in drugs. Yeah. They were able to sell drugs online and send it to your home in Amazon or whatever. I mean, they were able to mail drugs
Oh, wow.
to your house. When that was happening, and when there was a lot of talk and chatter about drug dealing in crypto, it was used as one of those excuses to ban crypto. I mean, not that it really happened, but people are talking about it. Oh, look, crypto can be used for buying drugs. We should ban it. It can be used for legal activities. Interestingly, that whole thing lasted only a couple of years. The whole operation was shut down. Silk Road was shut down.
Couple of years.
They got away with it for a couple of years, but they got caught. The founder of it has been caught. He's been tried. He has been convicted, and the website is no more. And even the Bitcoin within that site was seized by the US government and got auctioned off.
Wow. Okay. It's like some dude in Bangalore calling some peddler probably and like, भैया crypto लेते हो क्या? एक roll deliver कर दो.
Yeah. Except you didn't even have to talk to them. You just had to.
I get your point. But, again, I mean, these are the negative side effects if you look at it. I mean, people are doing a lot of, now at least since the digital currency has come into picture and the incomes of everybody are being monitored quite strictly thanks to UPI and all, you can't really get away with it. I mean, there's no black
Even
money
with
as
crypto,
such.
it has shown that you can't really get away with it, because of course the blockchain explorer makes the entire network transparent. Like every transaction happening between every two persons can be monitored. Like
Wow.
which do you think can be done with UPI? No.
No.
Do you know-
I mean, I think so. I don't know.
Who can I look at a transaction happening between you and that auto driver there? No, I can't.
If you're a cop and you ask
If
for
I'm
my
a cop.
statement,
But with crypto, it's even more transparent. Like I can look at the transaction happening between you and that panwala there.
but is that safe?
It's safe. Of course, it's safe.
Okay.
As long as your identity is not revealed. But the fact that the transaction happened has been recorded on public ledger and everybody can watch it happen.
So why is it that the banks or all these bigger authorities, why aren't they seeing that and then only relying on the myths around crypto? Why is it so? Is it because there are too many people with black money who are investing into this?
There is no data about that. That is the unfortunate fact. Like there is no data. We don't know how much of crime has been happening because of crypto. But as far as any research regarding crime and money laundering or anything for that matter has happened, has not been any anomalies or any market increase in crime or money laundering that can be attributed to crypto.
Makes sense, to be honest, if you look at it that way. Because crime is not something that relies on just one source entirely. I mean, you can take out multiple divisions of payments and modes and stuff like that and do what the hell you want. It's not just with crypto. You can do that with UPIs. You can do that with bank transfers.
Yeah, but we also have data that suggests that people who did rely on crypto and or at least had some involvement in crypto get caught. They got caught. Right now, we only don't know the data. We only don't know the data about people doing illegal activities with cash. But everything else is tracked one way or another, no matter how well routed the payments are.
Okay. Tell me one thing. If I'm a rich dude who's got a lot of money, because of my family, whatever they've been doing and stuff like that, can I hide my money in crypto?
You can't, because if you want to buy crypto, you eventually have to go to an exchange, right? And in your exchange, you've filled out all your KYC and everything.
Yeah. Oh.
So if you do buy crypto from there,
you can't really do that.
You can't really do that. But if you do peer-to-peer, let's say I'm some guy, some criminal who stole Bitcoin or maybe earned some Bitcoin by selling drugs, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I've been doing that. Now I decide to sell you that Bitcoin in exchange for cash.
Okay.
Now somewhere down the line, I'm a known criminal, right? I'm a known criminal. Police could track my blockchain, my Bitcoin wallet. No matter how many I create, they could just take note of it and then track them all at once. And eventually, when it ends up in your wallet or the wallet of your exchange, they can either catch you directly or they can approach your exchange. And if they approach the exchange in which you bought, they can directly get in touch with you, right?
Oh yeah, because everything is so transparent and all my details are right up there. Because I'm doing my KYC.
You've done your
and
KYC, and so of course we need laws now to protect crypto exchanges from that. But again, the government could always empower these exchanges to identify these criminals, right?
You can't do crime with crypto. Remember
you can't do crime with crypto. One way or another, you get caught. That's the message here.
So if it's that easy that it's so transparent and you can look at somebody else's money stream that's been exchanged or whatever it is called, I'm sorry. Is it not difficult for me to just crack your code and, just take that stream off and connect it to mine? Let's say you have your exchange, so it's exchange to exchange, right? Or exchange to server.
Wallet to wallet.
Wallet to wallet, right. So if...
Are you asking if it can be intercepted?
Yeah, why can't... So if it's like this, a straight line, can't I just do this?
That's the magic of... That's where the whole miracle of blockchain technology comes in. Nobody can just... If it's a centralized network, they could manipulate the servers and do that. But since crypto is decentralized, every transaction happening between every person is being verified 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, whatever, depending on the number of nodes that is. And all of those nodes that are spread across in a decentralized fashion, they have to verify that transaction and corroborate it, that it actually happened. Now, if my computer, let's say I have a Bitcoin node, you have a Bitcoin node, person A has it, person B has it. And let's say we
nodes, you mean mining setups?
It could be a mining setup. It could just be a wallet running on your computer.
Okay.
So let's say you and I transact. That means my node should say that I sent Bitcoin to Arwen. And his node should also confirm the fact that Divyanth, sent Bitcoin to Arwen.
Correct.
Person A, person B, even their nodes have to verify that I transacted money to Arwen.
Yeah.
That many transactions, that many verifications happen.
Okay.
So where's the question of intercepting? What exactly will you intercept here? Because if you do intercept, if a person D, for example, person X, let's say he wants to intercept the transaction happening between him and I. He is going to have to hack all 4 of our nodes in order to do that.
And for that matter, he needs to know which node the transactions are going to and coming from.
Every node is involved in every transaction, okay?
So it's basically just a random seed. You never know on which node it will go to. The blockchains will determine that.
The blockchain is being verified by that many computers, and the hacker has to convince that many computers to do his bidding. But that's the whole beauty of decentralization, right? That control can happen only if there's a centralized control over all the nodes, but every node is independent of one another.
So all the best to all the hackers.
So that interception just can't happen. It's just too costly.
Wow,
You know,
okay.
a powerful nation state like China or I don't know whatever could probably acquire enough hashing power to overwhelm the network. That's called, in fact, that could theoretically happen. It's called the 51% attack, where any one player or any pool for that matter, mining pool, if it has more than 51% of the hashing power of the entire network, then they can manipulate the network however they see fit, and it could potentially be used for hacking. But for Bitcoin, I don't think there's any pool that even comes close to having that level of control.
Wow, that's quite huge actually
But
to think
there are
about it.
other cryptos that have suffered this 51% attack. But that's one real danger that is still
Is
a
that a
little far-fetched.
nationwide attack, or is that like a very irrational duplicates or populated attack, like randomized population which you can create online?
There's a public key and there's a private key. The public
Yes.
key is like an email address that we all know of each other, and that's what we use to send. Now the private key is like a password that is auto-generated. Okay,
Okay.
that's auto-generated by these uh, miners, and these private keys are extremely long, up to 64 bits. Yeah, 64 bits long. Okay.
Okay.
64 bits or characters? I think it's characters.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, what you're trying to say is that it's unhackable. No matter what you do, no matter how good a person you are into hacking, you can't really get into that.
Yeah, I'm
aspect.
saying hacking is way too expensive for to be feasible.
Wow. Okay. All right. Moving on from that aspect of the thought process of hacking mythology. All right. How safe is the investment in crypto in general? I mean, do you think if I have invested today in crypto, I might lose it?
That's a very good question, because any asset class for that matter has this potential of destruction, right? Like for example, if you buy a house, you have to absolutely make sure that this house of yours is legal. It's been constructed legitimately. It's not constructed on somebody else's property or government property, or has any reason to be demolished by the government. Because recently, you can see that in Delhi, a lot of houses, Delhi and Uttar Pradesh, for example, a lot of houses have been demolished because they were illegally constructed. Of course, there's a whole bunch of political shenanigans also going behind it, but
Right.
there's always this potential that somebody could come and demolish your house. There's that danger. And when it comes to, let's say, stocks, right? If you end up buying a penny stock and if that company goes under, that stock will get delisted by the exchange. It could be Mumbai Stock Exchange, it could be NSE, New York Stock Exchange, or NASDAQ, anything for that matter. If it gets delisted by those stock exchanges, then the stocks, the equities that you supposedly own, ceases to exist.
Wow. Okay.
There is no danger like that with crypto, because crypto exists on the blockchain, and as long as there's at least one computer that has the copy of the blockchain is basically a ledger. That's it.
Right.
And as long as there's one computer on Earth, or one hard drive, or not even a computer, that has a copy of the blockchain of the crypto that you have, it's always going to be there. It's always which is the reason why it's immutable and its existence is completely tangible. In that sense, it won't. You will never lose the crypto that you just bought. That said, there are other ways you could lose it. For example, if you leave your crypto in an exchange, and if that exchange turns out to be a fraud or goes bankrupt, that exchange could basically just say that you don't own this crypto anymore, because these exchanges are the ones that hold your private keys. And as long as you don't have the private keys in your hands, as long as somebody else has it, that crypto is as good as belonging to them.
Wow. Okay. So what you're trying to say is, if my money is right now with one particular exchange and they decide to screw me over, They have the entire money that I've invested.
Yeah, and especially with the current regulations that are in place, even recently, Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong, he said it out loud that if Coinbase goes bankrupt, then their funds won't be safe, because because basically the banks will seize the crypto that's being held on customers' behalf, because there's no law or regulation that's clearly demarcating the ownership of crypto, right? Whether it's the client's funds or whether it's the exchange's funds. As far as the banks are concerned, even the client's funds are technically the exchange's funds that can be used to be acquired.
So, what you're trying to tell me is, if, for example, I have Paytm, PhonePay, and Google Pay, and let's say WhatsApp right now, correct? I have one UPI ID, which I share across all these platforms. If I'm using, let's say, WazirX, Coinbase, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and I invested in Bitcoin or Ethereum, the address that I get out of it, is it a centralized aspect, like it's going to the Ethereum wallet, or is it going to the wallet of WazirX and...
It's going to the wallet of those exchanges, WazirX.
Oh, yeah, that's not safe. My money is not safe.
But that's the case with banks, with your INR in banks also. Except there are laws protecting you.
So here we need to understand that these apps or these wallets that we are talking about are like banks. Correct? If that makes more sense. I'm investing my money in different banks in different formats like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, whatever.
Okay.
Right? So they don't have a centralized key, but I'm basically giving the bank and telling them that, boss, you invest my money however you want. I need so much % of whatever.
The interest, yeah.
Yeah. And I can choose to either pull out my money or, give it to you, however it is, or, purchase something else out of it. Like take my money out from the savings account and put it to the RD or the FD, something like that. Okay. Makes more sense. All right. I mean, we understand that my investment is technically safe, not physically, because it depends on the exchange or the wallet that I'm investing into.
Yeah. As long as you can trust the people running the exchange, then you can.
But aren't there only a few good names in this entire industry?
Yes, there are only a few good names.
Could you name a few?
In India, we have CoinDCX, we have Vault that I personally use. But there are others like CoinSwitch, Kuber, BitBNS. Yeah, there are a whole bunch. I personally haven't exchanged. You use those exchanges. But in CoinSwitch, Kuber, for example, they've banned withdrawals from. Banned crypto withdrawals. Customers can't recover any crypto that they've stored in those Bitcoin
I think
wallets.
I'm sorry. This was one of my questions that I wanted to ask you. That was the reason why I asked you if I'm investing in the exchange or in Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever. My question to you here is, what if I want to transfer the so-called coins that I have from one exchange to the other? Is that a possibility?
It is technically possible as long as those exchanges allow it. And in India, because of regulatory fears and concerns, a lot of these exchanges have forbidden it. But that is one of the dangers of investing in crypto on exchanges and leaving it there. Like one day they can suddenly say we have halted withdrawals for maintenance or whatever, and your crypto is at their mercy.
Yeah, that happens a lot because I've seen these apps that just say that withdrawals from this hour to this hour is not available due to maintenance. We regret the inconvenience. Yeah, but that they say regret the inconvenience, but I know the inconvenience that I'm going through over here.
Yeah, but again, this has happened with banks, right? This is a real danger with banks. Recently, like a couple of years ago, there was this PMC bank or something, which basically didn't allow people to withdraw more than 10,000 rupees from the banks. Now, what if they had to pay rent? What if they have the salary account in that bank, and what if they had to pay rent? Now they can't pay because
they're
bank...
pretty much screwed, actually.
Yeah, they're pretty much screwed. So how is this any different, right?
Makes sense. Okay. But is it why, the government is actually putting up a ban here? And do you think crypto in future might have a lifetime ban or something? What are your thoughts about it? I mean, since since 2013, almost a decade, right? What are your thoughts? How safe do you think the government is playing right now? Because as far as I can see it, the Indian government has like strictly put a red flag, no, on certain kind of transactions and stuff like that. But they're still letting you invest, and it's your money, and no matter how you look at it, if you're trying to withdraw and enjoy the profits out of it, you have to pay 30% of that to the government, which is shitty. What are your thoughts about this entire thing? Is that a good thing? Because you say they don't have a control. Why are they taxing us on that?
Okay, so I see multiple threads to this concern of yours. One is you're asking, I hope I'm right in this, but one thread is that I hear you asking whether the government can seize the crypto you have, right?
Yeah.
And the other thread is the government's concerns about exchanges potentially halting withdrawal services.
Do they really even care about it?
Do governments care about it? And is that a danger? That's a question you're asking,
Pretty
right?
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. The government is not really playing a role in safeguarding my money, right? They are prohibiting me from investing my money into that because that's a quick profit. If you want to look at it that way, and it's a quick earning. College kids set up mining rigs. We've sold mining rigs. They've been earning 30,000 a month. A college kid without doing anything, just with his dad's income, he's giving him 30,000 rupees and keeping 15,000 on it. He's not going to be charged any taxes and all right now because he's technically not in any service.
He's going to be charged a tax.
Now, since the entire 30% of the thing has come up. But if you look at it that way, unless he files his ITs, he's not paying any tax.
Well, this is another misconception that I'd like to clear. You owe tax no matter whether you file a tax return or not. As long as there's a profit, as long as there's money that you're earning, you owe tax. Now, of course, there's this threshold of income that our government has, which is like 5 lakhs per annum, below which you don't have to pay tax. True, all that is there, but if you earn more than 5 lakhs, you will definitely owe income tax. So never try to evade taxes.
So I'm paying 30,000 rupees to the government, and they're not going to be able to help me out if my exchange decides to show me the middle finger.
That is a very, very sad aspect of this current 2022 finance bill, which is to say that there's no regulation in place. They say the government is working on regulation, but we still don't have one. They've been saying that for like 1.5 years, and there's still not a shred of that.
Is it something to do with the entire world government, or is it just India?
The problem is India has one view about its sovereignty and what level of control it has to exert on people's financial decisions, okay? Uh-huh. And the rest of the countries in the world each have their own opinions on it, and there's no agreement. And because of that, India is now trying to go on this wild goose chase of convincing every nation on earth to bring in strict regulations.
We are a superpower.
Yeah. So that's the reason why, like, meanwhile, while that happens, India is trying to make its own set of regulations so that it's acceptable to all countries around the world.
Wow. So it's still scary. I mean, do you think the government can one day just wake up and decide that screw crypto?
It can theoretically do it, okay? It can threaten you with a gun and say that, okay, if you don't give me your crypto, you'll go to jail. But no government can possibly just go into your crypto wallet, provided it's in your own private wallet, can go into it and take it for itself, unlike your bank account. In your banks, if you put your money in your banks and if you say just don't pay any taxes, of course, one is you'll go to jail. Other thing is, government could technically take money from your bank account.
They can just shut down my bank or block it or
They can
whatever.
just block it. They could freeze it. They could do anything they want. But with your crypto, the worst they can do is threaten you at gunpoint.
I'll take that as a positive response. I'm sure that people are not going to be doing that to me. Not that I have a lot of savings in that going into anyways, because I've just recently started saving in crypto. It's been like, what, a year and a half. With what my understanding was and with what you had helped me, that is something that I'm going to be ever grateful to you, because you taught me something very good at the time of my need, to be very honest. And I hope that does help me out in the future. Moving on to the next question that I have for you is, what about the price volatility? I mean, why should I buy something whose value could go down at any moment? Because I'm looking at a particular coin right now, and I see the graph just going this, and then this, and then this, and then this. That's risky. But why should I invest onto that, and why are people investing onto that? I read, on CoinSwitch it says most people bought, most people sold, and all. What should I do about that kind of in that kind of a scenario? What should I do?
Okay, look, crypto is something really, really new.
Mm-hmm.
The market cap of crypto right now is about 700 billion US dollars. Now compare that to gold, which is $11 trillion. Okay, market cap meaning if you take all the gold in the world, the price of that will be $11 trillion. Mm-hmm. And with crypto, if you take all the crypto in the world, the price of that entire thing will be $700 billion.
That's still a lot.
That's a huge difference. But given how people buy precious metals like gold and people buy crypto, they do it for pretty much the same reason. They think that they can buy it for a lower price today and sell it for a higher price tomorrow, or just generally gather wealth, accumulate wealth in that asset.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, since the price gap between these two market caps, gold and crypto, is so high, and the fact that crypto has its own advantages, right? It's digital, which means you can move it around anywhere easily, and it's completely secure because it's running on the blockchain, and it's censorship resistant, which means no government can steal it from you. You can't take gold from you'll have to smuggle it. You have to do disgusting things to smuggle it, like put it in your cavities. Yeah.
You watch a lot of bad movies. A lot of mafia movies.
People have to do shady stuff to move gold around. But with crypto, we can just do it just like that, which means no government could say, no, your wealth earned in India should only stay in India. Okay. No, they can't technically do that. And I think this is another mindset shift that is going to be required, because just 100 years ago, it was forbidden to fly balloons near India-Pakistan border. You know why?
Why?
Because you could supposedly send secret messages to Pakistan.
I love you. I don't think my dad agrees to the wedding.
So it's illegal to do that. But now think about it. Now you can send emails. You can send WhatsApp to some guy sitting in Karachi.
Yeah, but then that is also being traced.
It's being traced. But
there is a mail from India.
But I don't think we can do that in WhatsApp. It's end-to-end encrypted.
No, please. Let's not even go there. You know what has happened recently and how, the entire WhatsApp mythology came into existence, where people immediately shifted to apps like Telegram and Line.
But it is possible to send an encrypted message from a person in Delhi to a person in Karachi. And there are ways to do it, and there's no government agency or law that's going to arrest you for doing that, right?
They can arrest Mark Zuckerberg.
But there are no laws under which they can do it. Anyway, so similarly, the mindset shift that is happening is that people should be able to transact value across borders just as freely.
Okay. I'm still investing into something that is dropping its price only with the thought process that tomorrow.
Yes, so that's where the market cap comparison comes in. Gold, 11 trillion, Bitcoin, crypto, 700 billion. That's like a 12, 13 fold difference. And given the advantages of crypto, one could only expect that this gap between these two market caps will only grow thinner and thinner, which means you can expect the market cap of crypto to grow to at least 4-5 trillion, which is a long way to go, right?
Because it needs more number of people to just keep investing and playing around.
Yeah, so more people are being born, more people are having new ideas, and more people are earning money now.
So, do you think the existence of NFTs right now in the crypto world, which is the new gen digital asset, has it helped in that growth in any way? Because end of the day, NFTs are face values, right?
Of course, but there also has to be a market cap probably with NFTs. But the thing about NFTs is they're all non-fungible, which means an NFT to do an airdrop is completely different from an NFT for a song or an NFT for a picture. So there's no standard way to calculate the market cap for NFTs right now, except for you can see the number of transactions happening in each platform like OpenSea or WazirX, the NFT platforms.
Okay.
And I personally don't have data about it, but I'm sure that will also contribute to the growth of crypto's market cap. Either way, all of that is still being done with FTs, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Ethereum or which other, I think VeChain is involved, VeChain, BNB. Yeah, even for Matic, there's an NFT. WazirX, WRX, that token is also used for trading in NFTs.
Wow. Okay.
So ultimately, it's the FTs that are fueling the growth and usage of NFTs. So it's these FTs whose price will ultimately increase.
Okay, moving on to the next question that I have. I mean, I understand we are talking about a lot of negativity today, but then please understand that if you go through these negative aspects and understand the negative aspects of what you're about to do, will give you a guidance to be able to do it the right way. We understand that it's non-hackable. We understand that the government can't really seize it unless you're at a gunpoint.
Which means it's a double-edged sword. It can also be used for bad.
Yes, we saw that. You spoke about the drug dealing thing, which is quite shocking actually. But yeah, my Indian theory of drug dealing, bhaiya mere ko ek roll dena, is still funnier. But then it's not really, to be very clear about it. But we also understand that the positive aspect of it is, as long as you understand the method in which you need to approach this particular thing, you can use it to do good. And we would be coming into it towards the end of the episode. But moving on to my next question to you. Bitcoin uses so much energy, right? I mean, I know it because when we started setting up mining, and people had to struggle mining Bitcoin. The amount of effort, the amount of time, the amount of power consumption that goes into mining a Bitcoin as such is quite huge. So, how does one justify that entire aspect of the energy consumption and all? Why is that happening? Is that like a huge server that is placed in probably the moon or something like that? Why is the entire energy aspect of it coming into picture here?
So Bitcoin uses this algorithm called proof of work for mining, right? Which means there are a bunch of complex calculations that are happening and getting solved. And the more number of networks there are, the more complex those calculations get. And the more complex those calculation gets, the more computing power you need to invest so that you will be the first one to solve those problems, so that you get Bitcoin as a block reward, which is the mining. Now, because of that, there's some kind of a computing power race going on across the world where everybody is trying to invest in mining and have as much hashing power under their control as possible. And there's this thing called difficulty in Bitcoin, where the more hashing power there is in the network, the more difficult the problems those miners have to solve. Okay? So there's some kind of a vicious cycle happening between the difficulty and the miner's self-interest. So that's the reason why Bitcoin's power consumption is extremely high. But this also means that this also means that more and more hashing power is getting decentralized, because not everybody can really afford the level of infrastructure and electricity needed to be able to dominate the hashing network, the blockchain, dominate the blockchain and the hashing power in it.
So what you mean to say is everybody is whoever has a setup for mining are just competing with each other.
They're competing with each other. Yes.
They're competing with each other to mine as much as possible with what they have.
Yes.
And that's okay. So basically, the complexity of how Bitcoin is actually created is what is creating an issue right now for people to be able to mine that. But is there a solution to it? Do you think there's going to be a solution to it? Because Ethereum is reaching proof of stake since God knows how long. I don't know, 1.5 years. They've been saying the proof of stake. What is it and what is going to happen?
So in proof of stake, you don't compete for hashing power. You compete for how much Ethereum you can offer to stake.
Hold on. I'm so sorry. Is that a proof of state or a proof of stake?
Stake.
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 Yeah, what the hell? That just changes everything now.
Stakes, like by gambling stakes, right? How many stakes you have? Yeah.
Because when we've tried selling a lot of mining setups, right? And we tell people to mine Ethereum because that's the usual thing and it's so easy to mine, right? Compared to Bitcoin, which we just figured out why. There are a lot of people who get into these forums and they're like, proof of stake. What do we do about it? So there are apps like TRX and all who have come up with mining different coins other than just Ethereum, and you can break down a lot of these new generation cards which have a blockage to them as to they're called LHR cards basically, with how much you can percentage of that card's power you can use to mine and stuff like that. So does this mean that it's changing into a newer form which cannot be mined?
Well, there are advantages to proof of work. There are advantages and disadvantages to proof of work. One, the disadvantage is the obvious one, which is the energy consumption. But the advantage is that it's making people kind of compete for electricity, right?
Okay.
Why is that an advantage? The advantage is that not everybody should be able to do it. Because if they do, then there could be bad actors who will try to seize control of the entire network and manipulate it. They want to disincentivize that. And because of that, we have proof of work where people have to compete for some real world resource, which is electricity. In proof of stake, that's for people who disagree with the need to make people compete for real resources, but rather about the coins themselves. And yeah, the main advantages, of course, of proof of stake is less electricity consumption. But the disadvantage I personally feel would be related to security. I think because you can have a proof of stake node within your computer, and your computer is only as secure as what you make it.
Correct.
Which means you won't invest too much resources into making it secure, right? You might put your private key in a Google Drive for that matter, and somebody will see it and they could just take it away.
Correct.
Yeah, so that kind of danger happens.
Okay.
So it's all just a subject to perspective. Depends on whether you like proof of stake or whether you like proof of work.
Does that also change? Now that affects mining.
Yeah.
How does that affect people who are just investing into it? Does that mean that it will be able to generate more profit right now?
With proof of stake, probably. There are pools out there that let you collectively put your crypto and earn the staking rewards depending on the proportion of crypto that you put in. And whereas in proof of work, that kind of staking reward is not possible, but you can still earn passive income from any coin as long as you find a platform that lends it out for an interest.
All right. So we understand the aspect of what proof of stake is and what Ethereum is trying to do right now. And again, it increases the power consumption there as well as equal to Bitcoin for that matter. I mean, since electricity is a physical attribute, doesn't that actually cause a lot of disasters? Don't you think that we are consuming more electricity at this point?
We are consuming a lot of electricity, and in fact, I think Bitcoin network alone uses more electricity than the entire country of Argentina. I think that's what I read a few years ago. It could be a way more than that.
What?
Which is crazy. Yes, I know. And that brings an ethical concern. That's an ethical concern that even governments are paying attention to, especially the environmentalist kinds. But I think the way I would look at it is, look, Bitcoin doesn't care whether you get the energy to mine it from coal or from solar energy. Okay, it doesn't care. Energy is energy. So if you're able to create some kind of a financial incentive or some kind of create an asset by consuming energy, then wouldn't that spur the technology to generate more of that energy? In other words, don't you think Bitcoin will help spur growth in renewables?
Yeah,
Because if you have a mining setup and the energy for it is not cheap, wouldn't you be incentivized to somehow generate electricity as well to run those mining setups?
that's why people have started getting into solar energy.
Solar on the rooftop, right? Solar
Yes,
rooftops.
windmills.
Yeah,
you know,
windmills, solar
house windmills
rooftops
and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense.
So
but
that definitely, don't you think that grows the market for renewables, which in turn will spur the market for better technology there?
it depends on how people think about it, but that does make a good point there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I would move on to the next question right now. Understanding the energy consumption of what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing right now. Um, Crypto is used to circumvent government controls, right? Is that ethical? Yeah. I mean, what if crypto is used for, I don't know, terrorist attacks? Because if we are looking at drug dealing, why the hell not terrorist attacks? Is that even a possibility? Like, you're sitting in one corner of the world and I want you to blow it up and you ask for money because you have to buy resources to blow it up. And it just goes, shing! Here you go, 1 Bitcoin.
So this is where the struggle between autocrats and democrats comes in, right? And this struggle has been around for at least a few hundred years.
So are you saying what I'm asking you is real?
It is a real concern, yes. Crypto can potentially be used by terrorists, and since only banks can be frozen and crypto accounts can't be, it is a genuine concern as if people somehow put their crypto and only transact crypto through unhosted wallets. But I would address that as a simple conflict between democrats and autocrats, where for all even in China, for example, people don't even want to send messages to each other without government knowing about it. WeChat is completely surveilled.
Yes.
You can't say anything bad about the Communist Party of China. Because that could be interpreted as a terrorist attack, right?
Yeah, true.
So I think this brings us back to the fundamental value, which we in the Bitcoin community is trying to espouse, which is that we should be able to transact value freely. Plus, there are other checks and controls within Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin blockchain is transparent. Everybody can see everybody's transactions.
Yeah, but then
it can be easily surveilled. It can't be censored.
But then the nodes or the exchanges don't know who you are and who I am other than the KYCs that we provide. How does the WazirX know that I'm a terrorist sitting right now in Pakistan? Just saying.
The law enforcement will eventually approach those exchanges, right? If I am caught committing a crime, right? If I'm caught committing a crime, the police will arrest me. They'll identify me, and then they will find out what means by which I was paid. If I'm a terrorist, for example, they'll find out what means by which I was paid.
You don't look like one, I do.
We all look like one. From
Actually,
different
terrorists
movies.
don't really have any identities nowadays. They all look like general people. But yeah, okay. What you're trying to say is that it can happen, or it has happened, and people have been trying to take a precaution.
It can happen. It's just that governments can't stop those payments from happening. They can stop it in terms of physically sending the law enforcement to the terrorists, but they can't stop a terrorist from being paid. But that's like, you can also not stop a terrorist from drinking water, but would you supply water supply to that terrorist? Does that make sense?
Makes sense, actually. Yeah, that's interesting. These are some of the mythological aspects of the negativity towards crypto, like no hacking, and even though you can get paid as a terrorist, you're still not safe. You need to understand that, because it's just like any other bank account what you have.
The KYCs will get you caught.
Right. And we'll not get into the KYC aspect of it, because that's another huge topic to discuss about. So this is not about that. Anyway, how about money laundering? Is it easy with crypto?
No, money laundering is not easy with crypto because once again, the transactions that you make with crypto are being traced and can be identified back to you if you lose an exchange.
So it's as simple as that. If I have black money, I can't just shove it into my bank account, because if I am doing that, the government gets to know, and blah 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 blah.
And if you buy it from a third party through an unhosted wallet, you eventually have to put it into an exchange and convert it into an INR.
So how do these peers survive? I mean, when you say peer-to-peer and certain
They can
exchanges-
survive a little longer by avoiding bank accounts or anything that traces money back to them, but eventually they will get caught.
That's also illegal, or they just have to pay taxes over the income.
Or they
that
just
they're
have to pay penalty and convert black to white money.
Understandable. Okay. Let's dig a little deeper now that we have spoken about, in terms of the digital assets having the negativity towards it. Where is the negativity coming from, or how
These
is it?
concerns.
How is it actually affecting the economy? Let's just regulate entire thing and understand what are we doing to the world right now as crypto investors. Yeah. My first question to you would be, the RBI governor said that crypto will bring microeconomic instability to India. What do you respond to that? I mean, how do you respond to something like that?
This is probably one of the most legitimate concerns I've seen from people in power. But again, how serious is it? That's the question here. Yes, crypto could indeed bring macroeconomic stability when you see, like random people like you and I who have bought crypto suddenly turn into crorepathi's, and then we end up buying houses with that.
Yeah.
But then again, how many people can really do that, and what's the data behind it? And those are the questions that I would go after when it comes to discussing macroeconomic stability of RBI governor. That said, I think I would look at it as a positive, because if we do succeed in getting rich off of crypto, right? What we are really doing is snatching wealth from abroad. And as you can see from India's history, we've been taken advantage by the powers in the West.
Yeah.
How our wealth has been looted. And I think adopting and embracing crypto will be an opportunity for us to snatch wealth back from outside the borders.
I mean, that also affects the entire Indian economy or the entire Indian financial system.
Yeah, the inflation could happen. But then again, how many houses would I need? How much grain do you need? Why would those prices increase? Like, how much do I travel? Like, if I suddenly have 1 crore rupees, would I just be traveling through a private jet? No, right?
No, obviously not.
I still travel as much as I need to travel.
And even if you're earning crores together every month, let's say for that matter, you're still paying your 30% tax.
And I'm paying tax, and I'm making the nation stronger.
Yeah. So I don't think it's illegal in that way.
It's not illegal. It's also good for the country.
Yeah. I think that in a way is a positive aspect of what we could look at.
That's something people in authority are failing to see, because we're all shrouded in this mythology that you just said. Right?
No, it's true. I mean, when you look around that, if for me to invest so much money, first of all, I need to have money. And to make crores, you need to invest crores.
No.
Or lakhs. And depend on the profitability or aspect of it, right? I'm making money. I'm pulling out money. Now, until and unless it's black, I have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
When it's black, that is when you'll have people in suits knocking your door. And end of the day, what this also tells me is that even if I'm sitting at home unemployed, I am just helping the government by ways in which they are earning a revenue from me, and that indirectly helps.
By taxes, you're eventually contributing to the nation.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So they need to have a legalized understanding away from the entire mythological aspect of crypto.
And they should look at the way they could take advantage of this whole phenomenon of crypto rather than trying to preemptively prevent its disasters, the bad things that haven't yet happened.
I mean, prevention is better than cure, and this is something that we've been taught.
Yeah, but like to what extent would you go to prevent? I mean, yeah, if you never want to die in a car accident, the best way to prevent that is to never travel in a car.
travel in a car,
But you
yeah.
have to travel in a car.
True. That is understandable. Okay. Many billionaires across the world, like, I don't want to take few names, but then they say that crypto is junk. It's useless and has no intrinsic value. Then what's the point even in investing in crypto? I mean, I'm looking at some of the biggest names who are inspiration in the entire world and, and to the entire earth for that matter. And they talk stuff like that.
That's a little disheartening. Yes, I know you don't want to name those billionaires, but it is a little unfortunate. But again, their concerns are A, coming from ignorance, and B, coming from vested interests. Ignorance because they are themselves invested heavily in the traditional markets, financial markets, equities, bonds, real estate, and so on.
They're just old school.
They're just old school. And once you get to that billions kind of net worth, you'll start seeing the economy as some kind of a zero-sum game where only I as a billionaire can exist or you as a billionaire can exist.
So isn't that a very selfish reason saying that,
I'm pretty sure they are saying that for selfish reasons. But here's the thing. It's not purely that. They can also be disproved. Bitcoin, crypto, or any of those cryptos for that matter, they do have intrinsic value. Their intrinsic value lies in the censorship resistance and the unhackability that we just spoke of.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense in that way. But you're a big name in the industry and you speak things like this just because you believe in certain principles that you have created around yourself.
Like, for example, an investment has to generate revenue on its own. A certain billionaire said that.
Right. So that pours in a lot of negative thoughts around us, to be very honest. If I'm new into it and I get inspired by all of these people, it's not just disheartening. I mean, it's disheartening for you. But for me, I'm clouded in a lot of thoughts there, right? I have a lot of different things running in my head at that given point in time, thinking, should I even go for it? Should I even do anything? I mean, again, this would go back to the first question that I asked, is crypto actually helping the entire economy of what we have? Because we've seen COVID hit us pretty badly and the last 2 years have been hopeless for a lot of people. There was a lot of price inflation. There was, even just simple rice was costing so much. Gas cylinders even now are costing a lot thanks to the entire Ukraine and Russia issue that has been going on. Don't you think that no matter how I'm looking at the entire scenario by investing my money into crypto and earning what I'm doing, end of the day, I'm still somehow helping the government, right? Or I'm still helping my nation.
Contributing to the economy, and you're making either you're becoming rich or you're helping somebody else become rich. And yeah.
Okay, that's pretty much a good thing. Are you sure that the crypto prices will go up? It's been a while since we've seen a lot of going down, and it's been I think 6 months now. We're June, 7 months since December. We have seen everything going down. Earlier we blamed the Russia-Ukraine war, and now that the war has come to a halt in a way, we still don't see that happening.
Okay, I understand where this is coming from, and I think this is coming from perspective or the timeline in which you've invested in. For example, if you've been investing only for the past 1 year, then you might have experienced a crazy amount of reduction in price of crypto. You might have bought crypto at like $69,000, and today it might be like 19,000, I think today, 20,000.
Somewhere around that.
Yeah, so you'll be if you've been investing in that time range, then you're going to be pretty sure that crypto is waste. It's going to be junk. It's going to go to zero and all that.
Why am I sitting on a leap year right now? No, I'm serious. I want to understand. Is there some sort of a cycle?
Yes, there is a cycle, which is where I'm coming to. Because when I got started with Bitcoin in 2013, you know what the price of Bitcoin was?
No.
It was like $300.
I was in ignorant little
It was $300,
beep, beep, beep.
and it fucking fell to $100 or so. And I was crying that Bitcoin price has fallen. I should have never invested or anything. It fell to $100, then went up to $1,000. It fell to $500. Once again, people in that time were crying about it. Back in 2017, it went up to $20,000, and then 1 year later, it fell to $3,000. Even then, people were crying. But if you had bought, and even if you had bought at the peak 20,000 of 2017, today when the crypto is down, you still wouldn't have lost too much money.
Makes sense. So it's
So
basically a game.
it's going in a cycle, right? It's going in 4-year cycles roughly, which and
4 years. Why is that? Why is there that cycle? Why does it exist that way?
well, that's the cycle that has happened for crypto. I mean, for other assets like stocks, that cycle has been longer. But with crypto, it just happened to be 4 years.
Is it something that was coded into it, or it just happened?
It just happened. Well, Bitcoin. So there's this one theory floating around about Bitcoin's difficulty being increased, roughly every 4 years. So right now, I think the block reward for Bitcoin is around 6.25 or something. But like 4 years before, it was 12.5, and before that, it was 25 Bitcoins, which means every time a miner solves a problem, he got 25 Bitcoin several years ago, and then it became 12.5, and then it became 6.25. That was a block reward for mining, and the price increase kind of the cycle that we speak of kind of corresponds to has so far corresponded to the time in which the difficulty increases.
How would you want to sum up this entire episode right now? Because we were talking about so much of negativity. We were talking about terrorism. We were talking about drug dealing and buying ice creams and stuff. Okay, which is not a bad idea, but I wish I could buy.
Did you know somebody actually bought pizza for 10,000 Bitcoins?
Oh yeah, I know that story. I read that story. There was this guy who paid a pizza delivery guy in Bitcoin, and that guy just became millionaire. Well, not instantly, but
even I paid pizza. Even I paid like 0.25 Bitcoins for a pizza.
Holy shit!
Back then.
Domino's, are you listening to this podcast? Please let us trade in cryptocurrency if we can.
In fact, I think that $10,000 pizza was with Domino's. I don't know. Let's check. I'm pretty sure it's.
Oh God. Okay. So, how do you want to sum up the entire scenario right now? We've seen so much of negativity right now, but
the negativity, there is a lot of negativity around crypto, and I just wish that they're all well informed. Like right now, there's only one really well informed negative thing about crypto that was said by RBI governor, which is it could lead to macroeconomic instability in India, and that is the only that was the most informed criticism of crypto that I've seen so far, which I think is not even it's still not that good. I mean, there's still a lot of information, lot of learnings to happen before people can actually make good criticisms of crypto.
End of the day, when we look at the entire thing, we are helping the economy by earning money. We are paying our taxes now that the taxes have been implied on it. We are paying our taxes.
Either I pay tax or you pay tax if you and I trade or exchange crypto.
Yeah. So it has its good side effects as well as bad side effects. So we should just understand that you can't entirely depend on just the earnings of crypto.
Of course,
because
not,
you need money to invest money in crypto.
Yeah.
And that is something we need to understand. But yes, concluding the entire first episode and second episode, what I think you and I, what we both want to tell everybody is that we want you to invest so that you can earn a little amount of money, contribute to the society, and contribute to your own, musical journey. Get what you want in limitation, staying under the radar, of course, and not doing anything unethical like buying an ice cream with crypto. I wish I could do that.
And crypto is, of course, risky. But here's the thing. Working hard is not the only way to make money. Even taking risks is important, okay? And crypto is one aspect in which you can take you can earn money by taking risks.
Right. I think that's rightly put. Uh, so, concluding the episode, thank you so much, Divyanth. I think it took in a lot of time today of yours, but then it was quite informative. We dug quite deep to the entire mythological aspect of cryptology that's been going around in the world for the past God knows how many years.
Cryptocurrencyology, crypto assetology.
We can just add ology to everything else. It just becomes, a very sincere word. But yes, what we need to understand here is that we need to be safe, we need to be secure, and do not put in, again, this is just like how you said, any
Do
amount
not
of
put
money
money that you cannot afford to lose.
Yes, so that's a pretty good statement that was made by you. Anyways, guys, if you ever want to get in touch with Divyanth or I with regards to any of your investments, I mean, I know nada. He's my teacher anyways with regards to this. Get in touch with him. I'll be putting up his email ID and stuff in the description. For the rest of the stuff, I think you can keep watching the channel because we're going to have a lot of musicians coming into the channel and talking about their musical journey when they started back in the days of Garage Jam and what they are doing right now. But for today, thank you so much, Divyanth, once again. And yeah, old school never dies.